Hello everyone and welcome to the PackCast, your place to hear everything in the world about all things Wolverhampton Wanderers. Today we are going to be going through our Premier League game versus Tottenham Hotspur, which I have finally mentally recovered from, I think. So yeah, this isn't late. It just took me a while to put together all my notes and my script and everything like that, because there's a lot to talk about today. As well, this is the same day as our cup tie against Nottingham Forest, which I'm not going to do a preview for, because obviously it's a bit late now and I'm not going to add it into this video because I haven't planned anything for it. It's come around quite quickly, so I'm not going to do anything for that, mostly because I don't want to do like a mismatch video where I don't know much about the game at all. However, I'm going to see if I can watch it. It is on Wolves TV, so I'm going to see if I can watch it after recording this, and then I may do a preview on it, or I may just touch into it in our next preview for our next Premier League game. So we're going to go into Wolves versus Tottenham Hotspur at the Molineux Stadium on Sunday the 22nd of August, refereed by the one and only Stuart Atwell, which always goes well for Wolverhampton Wanderers. So this is the lineup we had. It was the 3-4-3 formation that we did expect, with Jose Sarr starting goal as usual. Connor Cody, our captain, alongside Roman Saiz and Maximilian Kilman in the centre-back positions. Marçal making up the left wing-back spot, so Aït-Nouri did not start, which is how I'd predicted it to go. However, Marçal did actually have a very good game. Ruben Neves and João Moutinho in the midfield, so no Dendoncker, which everyone thought might happen over João Moutinho. And then it was good to see Nelson Semedo back after his run out with the under-23s midweek. So it's good to see Nelson Semedo back, who also had a very good game down that right side. Then we had Adama Traoré, Trincao, and then Raul Jimenez through the middle, and then eventually Ryan Aït-Nouri, Leandro Dendoncker and Fabio Silva came off the bench. So that is the lineup for Wolves. Tottenham lined up with Hugo Lloris in goal, Reguilon and Tanganga in the fullback positions, with Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer in the centre-back positions, Højbjerg, Dele Alli and Oliver Skipp in midfield, with Son Heung-min or Heung-min Son, Steven Bergwijn and Lucas Moura up front, with Harry Winks, Lo Celso and Harry Kane coming off the bench later into the game. So let's get straight into the match stats before we go into our match report and all the match facts and everything like that. So possession wise, I've got all the possession and match stats up here. So we had 58, well, it's 58% possession. It's 57.8 on the official Premier League website. However, we're just going to round that to 58% possession, and they had 42.2 or 42% possession. So the game didn't go how everyone thought it was going to happen. Everyone thought Tottenham were going to dominate the ball. However, Wolves, which we'll go into, dominated this game, and it was brilliant to see, to be honest. 6 shots to 6 on target for both sides. However, when it comes to overall shots, Tottenham had 8, Wolverhampton Wanderers 25, totaling to 42 shots in our last 2 games, with 0 goals, which we'll go into later on today. 709 touches of the ball for Wolves to Tottenham's 567. We made 470 passes to Tottenham's 356. There's just a lot of stats that aren't really relevant here. We had 5 corners, they had 4. We had 2 offsides, they had none. They had 4 yellow cards, which also I'd like to touch upon, to our 1. And those are pretty much the most important stats which I'd like to go into at least. So this game was probably one of the most frustrating games I've ever watched. The game started off very well, Wolves dominating possession, keeping hold of the ball, playing it round very well, getting a few chances of our own. Not big chances yet, however, we were getting there slowly, moving the ball forward, attacking very, very well. Trincao being used a lot more than he was in the Leicester game, and he seemed a lot more confident in the Tottenham game. In the Leicester game, I touched upon him being a bit more careful, maybe not trying a few things that he could. However, in this game against Tottenham, he seemed to come into his own, and he was brilliant. And so was our main man, Adama Traoré, who we're also going to have a very large section on today. So, 10 minutes into the game, Tottenham obviously had their penalty where Dele Alli was played through, and I think it was very cleverly simulated by Dele Alli. It's definitely a penalty because obviously contact was made on the player. The ball wasn't made contact with at all by Jose Sarr. So Dele Alli goes through, Jose Sarr closes him down, and Dele Alli cleverly jumps into midair and makes contact with Jose Sarr's chest, which is very, very clever. And obviously Stuart Atwell is going to give the penalty for that. So, I mean, yes, it is simulated, but it's very cleverly simulated that it is a penalty, unfortunately. And then Dele Alli goes on to put that one away. And then it was just us on the ball completely throughout the first half. I mean, we really, really dominated, having a few chances. Raul Jimenez maybe not having as many chances as he would have liked. We didn't really get that many shots off on Hugo Lloris that really tested him. Until the second half, which we'll go into now. We had a few yellow cards which I'd in the game, which I'd like to touch upon now, actually. Tottenham decided to go into the game with a quite a reckless persona, if you will. Tanganga especially liked to leave a few chances on... liked to leave a few challenges on Adama Traore, who... was running him ragged, is the term I'd use, to be honest. Adama Traore completely sending him to the shops completely throughout this entire game. And it seemed to be that Tanganga was getting a bit annoyed, a bit frustrated that he couldn't keep hold of Adama Traore at all. He was running all over him. And it ended up with Tanganga leaving a few late chances on Adama Traore and Marcal, which sent him... lying on the floor for a few minutes while he had to get a bit of treatment. So Tanganga deservedly getting booked, and it's quite surprising that he didn't get a red later on in the game. Nuno must have told him to calm down at half-time because he really, really backed off from Adama Traore. I don't know whether they changed sides. I didn't actually... that probably would have been good to keep an eye on. Maybe they changed sides throughout the game. However... another yellow card that happened in the first half was Oliver Skipp also getting booked, which I did think was going to happen once again, fouling Adama Traore, who got fouled tons in this game. So, moving on to the second half, Tottenham starting to come into their own. Jose Sarr having a little bit more to do, making some brilliant saves. One especially against Harry Kane later in the game. However, that's not the chance I'd like to touch upon. Sorry, I've got quite a bad throat. It's very difficult to talk at the moment. However, I do have a glass of water, so I am going to just... this is just getting recorded. I'm not going to edit it very much at all. However, I'm just going to have a quick drink while we do this. There we go. Right then, that's going to come out really weird on the actual podcast, on the audio. So... the chance I'd like to touch upon is Adama Traore's chance where he came one-on-one with Hugo Lloris. He was sent through in behind the Tottenham back four, and it seemed to all the Wolves fans that this was going to be it. It was going to be that moment where we equalised, and then we started to become more confident in the second half, and Adama Traore, lacking composure, puts it straight at Hugo Lloris. Yes, Hugo Lloris makes a good save, makes himself big, and blocks the shot that Adama Traore fires at him. However, the thing I'd like to touch upon with Adama Traore is the fact that he seems to be struggling with a bit of composure and a clinical aspect of his game recently. And I don't know whether that's because he's lacking confidence. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's lacking confidence. He always seems confident to take on players, which is his speciality. I mean, everyone knows that is what he's known for and that's what he's best at. That's why a lot of teams do want to look at him. However, there's a lot of slander about Adama Traore not putting away chances and things like that, and blaming him for all of our missed chances in our last two games with our 42 shots. However, the point I'd like to touch upon is it Adama Traore we should be blaming, or do we have to bring some other players into this? Because yes, Adama Traore does miss a lot of chances. However, Adama Traore is the only one getting the chances, which, you know, you can't entirely blame one player if he's the only one getting any chances. Now, I understand Raul Jimenez has just come back from a ridiculous injury. I mean, he's lucky to be alive, Raul Jimenez, and it is incredible, and it is a miracle that he's even playing football. So I'm not going to blame Raul Jimenez at all. However, I'd like to think that Trincao, I know he's just come into the Premier League, but you can't be making excuses for players who have been playing. Like, Raul Jimenez has been out. Yes, I can make an excuse for him. However, Trincao's been playing, and we don't get much attacking threat from our midfielders either. I know they play the odd through ball through to Adama Traore. However, once again, it's only Adama Traore who's getting the chances. And that's something that does really bother me when you see players, when you see fans, even of Wolves, who give him stick, really. And it is just really disheartening. It could be for Adama Traore. I mean, I don't know if he reads everything that people say about him, and even opposition fans, which is absolutely awful. Some of the stuff opposition fans say about him, saying he's not worth any money at all simply because he can't put away chances. But any team would be so happy to have Adama Traore in their team. I know they would be. Like, at the moment, they say, he doesn't put away chances. He doesn't do anything to contribute to the team apart from run and wear baby oil. That is literally what all opposition fans say about him. However, if he was their player, they wouldn't be saying it. It just wouldn't happen. I know a lot of Wolves fans are saying it. However, that's because they know how good he can be. They've seen it happen. We've seen him against Manchester City. We've seen him put away chances. We've seen him set up chances when Raul Jimenez was in fine form about 2 seasons ago, which was absolutely incredible to see. And Adama Traore will come back into his own this season. I know it'll happen. Obviously, I can't see the future. I can't come back and say he's going to score 3 in our next game, or he's going to score 35 goals all season. He's going to have an absolute wonder season. But I can see him coming into his own. I can see him scoring goals. It will happen, and people just need to give him time. Obviously, he does need to work on his composure. No one is saying that he doesn't. However, Adama Traore is a special player. He beats players for fun, and he's one of the best players on the ball in the Premier League, if not the world. So, people need to just come away from Adama Traore a bit. We need to stop giving him so much stick, because he's at the moment he's our best player, and there's no doubt about that. But however, I will go on to Ruben Neves, because I know a lot of people will be saying Ruben Neves has been absolutely brilliant in the Tottenham game as well. However, exciting, making chances, having chances. Adama Traore, we need to give him less stick. So I'm going to put Adama Traore to the side now, and now I'm going to go on to Ruben Neves, who was absolutely brilliant in this game. I have him up here with all his stats and stuff like that, which I'd like to go through for this Tottenham game, if I can get them up quickly. So I have Ruben Neves' top player stats here. So he is within the top 3 for 2 specific top player stats here, which is passes and tackles. So Ruben Neves completely dictated the game against Tottenham. Obviously, he is playing in midfield, so he's obviously going to dictate our play a bit more. However, Ruben Neves, I absolutely love. He's absolutely incredible. And Ruben Neves here in this Tottenham game played 113 passes, only being beaten out by Maximilian Kilman with 114 and Roman Saiz with 119, obviously showing how much Wolves dominated the game. And then in tackles, we have him being beaten out by Maximilian Kilman once again with 9 tackles, and then he is in second with 7, and then Marcal is in with 6. However, Ruben Neves, so far this season, has been probably our second best player, or our third best player behind either Adama Traore and Kilman, and then it has to be Ruben Neves for one of our best players so far this season. I know it's early days, however, he started off very well. Hopefully he can get some assists and maybe some goals under his belt. Hopefully we can see some long-range strikes from Ruben Neves, which we know and love, and see him bring out his signature celebration, which we all want to see, especially me being a massive Ruben Neves fan. But the goal I'm looking for is just Raul Jimenez. I want to see Raul Jimenez score his first goal, which is going to be absolutely incredible. So, going on to what what the Premier League thought of this match report. So, actually, no, it's Wolves' match report here. So, Wolves search for a first victory of their 2021-22 Premier League season is not without trying, as Bruno Lage's side did everything but score in their opening home game of the campaign against Tottenham Hotspur. So that is the opening statement for this Wolves match report, and it goes on to say about how we dominated possession, we created tons of chances, we played much better attacking football, even dominating the game and hitting the away side on a lot of counter-attacks. Then it goes on to say about Dele Alli's penalty. They don't mention what I did about it being minorly simulated, however they do speak about how Dele Alli won it after getting past the Wolves back three. And then they speak about Adama Traore's many chances, and it's just a shame to see how many chances we did have. I mean, it was a shame to see Matt Doherty not play as well. That was one player I did also want to see. However, with Nuno's return to the Molineux, unfortunately, he does get the last laugh, which is a shame. So, what we should probably go into now is what FotMob thought of the player ratings, which I did do in our last review. I'm not going to go into the Instagram ones today. However, I am going to go into the FotMob ones, which I do enjoy, and then I'll give my own match rating. So, is it surprising that the Wolves starting 11 had much higher ratings? No, it isn't at all. And I think these ratings are actually very, very good. One player in particular getting the high rating he deserved. So, we'll go into Tottenham's first, actually. We'll leave Wolves till last. So we start out with Hugo Lloris in goal with a 7.7, Reguilon with a 7.7, Dyer with a 7.2, Sanchez with a 6.7, and Tanganga with a 6.8. Dele Alli with an 8.1, obviously getting the goal. Skip with a 6.8, Højbjerg with a 7.3, Bergwijn with a 6.6, Son with a 6.8, Mora with a 6.9. Then the players off the bench, Lo Celso with a 6.3, Harry Kane with a 6.2, and then Harry Winks didn't play enough of the game to have an actual rating. So, the Wolves side, right, let's head into this. Jose Sarr was given a 7.3, which I do believe actually he did a lot more in this game compared to the Leicester game, so I do believe he deserves a slightly higher rating than a 7.3. Max Kilman was given a 7.8. Once again, a brilliant rating and a brilliant performance by Max Kilman. He's really come into his own this season. I know it's early days, however, he's been brilliant, and hopefully he can continue that. Connor Cody having a better game than the Leicester game. Obviously, I spoke about how I thought he was at fault for the goal. He was given a 7.5, which is reasonable. Then we have Roman Saiss, who was given a 7.6. I'm not too sure about a 7.6. I would put him lower than Cody. However, each to their own, you know. Semedo is the one I'm slightly frustrated with. He was only given a 7. I thought Nelson Semedo had a rather good game. I'd put him maybe a 7.7. However, I will go into my my match ratings in a sec. Right, I'm going to leave the next player until last, probably. João Moutinho was given a 7, which I believe is reasonable. Maybe move him up slightly. He did play quite well, but the entire Wolves side did play quite well. It was just unfortunate, the fact that we didn't put away our chances. Marcel was given a 7.5, which is once again a reasonable rating. I thought he had a pretty good, decent game. You may be able to move Marcel slightly up in rating. Trincao was given a 6.8, which is probably reasonable. Obviously, Traore having all our chances. Raul Jimenez was given a 5.9. Now, just clicking on Raul Jimenez here, obviously I have my phone here plugged in. I'm not too sure 5.9 is justified, really. I mean, obviously he didn't have many shots. on target. I mean, he had 0 on target. He had 1 off target, and he had a total of 5 shots. Obviously, 4 of them were blocked. However, a 5.9 is really harsh. I'd at least give him probably a 6.5. I mean, he wasn't spectacular, so a 6.5 is probably justified. Next, we'll go into Adama Traore, who was given an 8.1. Probably, once again, was justified due to the fact he had tons of chances, beat tons of players, and just was brilliant on the ball. And the last player who I completely think deserved a higher rating than this, however, Ruben Neves with an 8.1, deservedly getting a high rating and one of the higher ratings of the game. The joint highest rating, along with Dele Alli, Adama Traore, and obviously Ruben Neves. So brilliant to see Ruben Neves getting recognition that he deserved. It was good to see Ruben Neves actually get the recognition here, because I don't think he was given that in the previous game against Leicester. So thank you, FOTMob, for letting me look at your stats. I don't know why I'm saying thank you. I'm not sponsored by them, so I wish I was. That would be brilliant. I wish I was sponsored by someone, because then I wouldn't have to work. But yeah, let's have a think about who I'd give my personal rating. So Jose Sarr, I'm going to move up to a... So they gave him a 7.3. I'm going to move him up to a 7.6. Mostly because I believe Jose Sarr, it could have been more. It really could have been more if Jose Sarr hadn't been there. Obviously, blocking a chance from Bergwijn. He had a save against Harry Kane late into the game. So those are genuine moments where they should bump his rating up. So 7.6 for me for Jose Sarr. Max Kilman, 7.9 is what I'd give him. Just bump him up by 0.1 just because he's brilliant. Connor Cody, 7.5, probably justified. Roman Saiss, I'm going to knock down to a 7.4. I don't think he should be above Cody. However, I don't think Cody should go up. So I think it's justified that we just bring them down slightly. Nelson Semedo, I don't agree with the 7 at all. That's daylight robbery for Nelson Semedo. I don't know, whatever. Let me know what you thought about Nelson Semedo's performance, but I think he played rather well. So I'm going to give him a 7.7. Nelson Semedo, I thought he played rather well. I watched the game as much as I could. But it's just Nelson Semedo just deserved a higher rating, I thought. Ruben Neves, let's just give him a 10. Ruben Neves, give him a 10. No, we'll give Ruben Neves an 8.4. Just to get edging him out in front of everyone else, because he just deserves it. He had a brilliant game and was definitely our best player, probably just ahead of Adama Traore. João Moutinho was given a 7. I'm going to give him a 7.2, just because he didn't do anything significant, let's be real. However, he didn't play awful, so a 7.2 is a reasonable result. 7.5 for Marcel, I'm going to give him a 7.6. I'm going to bump him up slightly. I believe he had a good game. I believe both our fullbacks had very good games and coped with their wingers quite well. Marcel definitely having an improvement on the Leicester game. Trincao with a 6.8. Yeah, that's reasonable. So I'm not going to speak on that or change anything. Raul Jimenez, I'm going to bump up to, what did I say, 6.3, I think was what I'd like to bump him up to, just because I think they've been really harsh. And Adama Traore, I'm going to leave it at an 8.1, mostly because I believe that's a pretty reasonable rating. So, it is currently 7:59. So the game against Nottingham Forest is about to kick off. So, just before we finish off, Wolves currently sit in 16th. Obviously having 2 losses from 2 games. However, only conceding 2 goals, which is okay. And Tottenham currently sit 5th after winning 2 games and only scoring 2 goals. So, that is where I'm going to leave this podcast. So, thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. I'm sorry that I'm not bringing out a match preview for our cup tie tonight. However, I just wanted to do this one as I'd planned it out and everything like that. I don't have anything planned for the Nottingham Forest game. However, thank you very much for listening to me today, and I will see you all in the next podcast.